For as long as people could remember in North America, the US of A were simply the best in Marvel vs. Capcom. They stood atop, unopposed for all of Marvel 2 and Vanilla Marvel 3. It's March the 3rd, 2012, and some Japanese dude picks a team of Beautiful Joe, Frank West, and Rocket Raccoon on Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and creates history in the process. Flashback to that day in 2012 in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US of A. The long-running Final Round tournament is hosting its 15th edition, featuring all the most played fighting games of the time, such as Street Fighter 4, MK9, Soul Calibur 5, and the one we'll be focusing on today, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. New MVC3 was released November 2011 as an update to the original MVC3, and by March 2012, the meta had slowly started to settle. People had realized that characters like Virgil ran the show because of his obvious strengths, but stuff like Mario was still yet to be theorized, or at the very least, put into practice. It is with this backdrop that we'll look at one Kusoru. Kusoru, while unknown to most Marvel players and the US Capcom-centric FGC, was a known name in the Guilty Gear/anime fighter scene in Japan, even winning Tatsunoko vs. Capcom at Super Battle Over 2009, and he was known mostly for his, let's call it, idiosyncratic playstyle. Usually in fighting games, you create a game plan with your character and adapt the game plan to the opponent. Players like Kusoru flip the script and make the entire game plan, forcing the opponent to react to an apparent lack of game plan. Couple that with pure instinct and you're left with salty opponents who don't know or why they have lost, and quote-unquote random is usually the word thrown out. Sometimes as praise, sometimes as an insult. At some point, Kusoru picked up Marvel 3 and got to work with the team of Beautiful Joe, Frank West, and Rocket Raccoon. Three characters considered low tier at the time. Rocket Raccoon was especially underdeveloped, and at the time was a more obscure character pick for the Marvel side of the game. This is a world pre-Guardians of the Galaxy and most of the MCU after all. And so he showed up to FRB, Final Round Bats, the local UMVC3 RAN bats in the area, and ended up winning the grand prize at the end, a ticket to Final Round in Atlanta, a chance to represent his local scene and Japan in the wider Marvel scene. Note that his game plan, while using an unorthodox team, isn't quite the outright insanity of his play in other games. He has a very clear game plan. Zone with Beautiful Joe, Lock Trap Assist with Rocket Raccoon to cover most of the screen, and get Frank in to level him up when possible. Now for a quick history lesson on Marvel vs. Capcom. This is America's game. MVC2 was an American pastime, dominated by Americans at EVO. North America found all the tech and strategy that defined the game itself and probably how a Marvel vs. Capcom game should be. And that carried straight into Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Aside from a few threats from Daigo,
こんにちは、梅原です。去年は日本と欧米のスパ4同時発売により、全世界が同じスタートラインに立って出発することができました。その結果は見ての通りでした。
who soon dropped the game, Japan did not really gel with the game as much as North America did, and so US players pretty much dominated all the US majors, and it had by far the strongest MVC3 scene. Until Final Round 15. Sadly, the brackets have been lost to time, so we can't get an exact map of Kusoru's progress through the tournament. We started in pools with probably his most well-known match, against Filipino champ. F-Champ was already at this point one of the bigger names in the scene. In fact, spoiler alert, he would go on to win MVC3 at EVO in the same year. At the time though, he had to face this guy from Japan playing an unconventional team, as Ultra David puts it.
Yeah, it's an unconventional team. It's a few characters we see rarely in the States, but you know, you have a lot of respect for Raccoon. I think that Joe and properly leveled up Frank West are both really strong characters.
Oh, properly leveled Frank West may be the best character in the game. So
amazing character.
I don't think anyone's going to argue with us on that one.
Yeah.
The game starts solidly enough for F-Champ, knocking out Beautiful Joe, but then Kusoru aka Ageo Joe managed to get the Filipino champ's Doom and Magneto off of the picture. And then something legendary happened.
Here comes Phoenix. Oh yeah? That was awesome. So we have level 3 Frank in the building. X Factor to try to get away. What's he got? Oh!
Roll canceled!
Ageo Joe!
A roll cancel. Filipino champ paused the game by accident. It doesn't.
Second game starts off well for Kusoru at the beginning, but he is soon down to just Rocket Raccoon. He then managed to get the comeback and even it up to just Raccoon versus Phoenix. And just when the commentators wonder if Kusoru had something up his sleeve for the situation, he pulls this one out.
Quite get the OTG there, so this is the problem. And he catches him again.
Okay, now what do you got, buddy? What do you got?
Oh, is he gonna plant traps?
Okay, so he
It's
wants to
just
be
a
on top
space
of it.
control,
Now watch
yeah.
down there. Okay. Yeah,
It's just
trying to stay
sitting
on
there.
top of it.
Oh, there it is! He caught her! He caught her! She fell into the trap! She
No, he
fell
goes-
into the trap!
That's why he put it out and he tried to stay near it, and Filipino champ forgot about it or something.
And look
And
at
Ageo Joe hugging everybody. Everybody from Japan
Team
rushing the
Japan.
stage.
defeating
Marvel vs. Capcom
Filipino
3
champ!
from Japan.
Kusoru had beaten one of the US top Marvel players while holding out a copy of Sengoku Basara X for the PS2, you know, this game. On the way to top 8, Kusoru starts taking names, sending some of the best players to lose his records. Players such as future UMVC3 Evo champ Flocker and Combo Fiend.
Oh no, and I am
Our qualifier for top 8.
Mike Roth's pockets are getting thinner and more slim as Kusoru moves on in the winner's bracket, doing it for Japan, Ageo Joe.
And suddenly, the name of Kusoru, not known to most Marvel 3 players, was in top 8 of one of the biggest events of the year. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing, it makes a big difference, thank you. The first match of top 8 is against one of the best hero players at the time, Planet Zero's own Mihei. It was also a bit of a surprise as Mihei was mostly known as an online player and didn't travel too much to events. The clash of the underdogs originally did not start well for Kusoru as Mihei dominates game 1, even if Kusoru tries him out a comeback with a Frank West hanging on by a pixel. Mihei then starts some showboating of his own, and Kusoru just takes it in stride. You know, the man's having the time of his life, regardless of the result. On game 2, it was evenly balanced, but a well-placed log, yet again, turns the tide in Kusoru's favor. After some more tech unknown to the US at the time,
Alright, throws out a shocking pink, gets an air throw, into the bomb setup! Into the bomb setup! OTG! Into the bomb!
Kusoru takes game 2, gives out another peace sign, and after Mihei takes a moment to change his character's voice from English to Japanese because he needed the sound cues, we get on to game 3, where it's a log massacre.
Not even gonna risk anything stupid there. Smart play. Look at
There
him go! You saw the raccoon come out, and everybody in the room knew what was coming. Nowhere to go. Oh, Mihei going to the loser's bracket. Boom! Agio Joe!
Kusoru wins convincingly, poses for the picture one more time with Mihei, and then has to play none other than Yipes in the winners finals. Yipes needs no introduction. He had been one of the best in Marvel 2 and has been always a fan favorite, being one of the most recognizable voices of fighting games in general along the years. And here he was defending the US in home soil against the threat of whatever Kusoru was doing. He starts off well enough for the supporters in the crowd, taking game 1 convincingly, but the tightly contested game 2 sees Kusoru the winner. Showed in this particular moment that it was so absurdly confident that with enough resources to do any easy combo and win, he decides to go for the loop instead and drops it. For then he has to deal with X Factor level 3 Virgil, a character infamously known for his comeback potential. Fortunately for him, he gets a timeout, wins, and then raises his arms to the audience. Game 3 is a convincing win for Kusoru, not too much here of note aside from the ending.
Oh, and there it is again.
Guy's trying to make sure he gets in, and
Oh
there's
my
the
gosh.
dive kick. So 2-1 up now is Ageo Joe. And let's see if Broken Tier Yipes can adapt at all. You can see him deep in thought. And Ageo Joe giving him a little bit of encouragement. Nice guy.
Game 4 then starts with both players getting their happy birthdays in, but eventually Kusoru takes control and sends Yipes down to losers finals, where he had to play PR Balrog, and spoilers, PR Rogue won. The stage was finally set for the grand finals between the underdog Kusoru and PR Rogue. PR Rogue was mostly known for being one of the top players of SF4 at the time, but had reached EVO finals on Vanilla Marvel vs. Capcom 3 the previous year, and now had gotten himself again in grand finals of a major tournament. Game 1 starts and has Kusoru mostly in control, aside from the X Factor level 3 Spencer scare at the end, and ending the game with Frank Quest level 3 and then doing the bat swing motion. The dude is still having the time of his life in grand finals, with the room almost overwhelmingly backing PR Rogue. Game 2 was more of the same, and things seem to be heading towards Kusoru taking this 3-0. Game 3 though starts with PR Rogue managing to kill 2 characters quickly, only having to deal with solo Frank West, which was no issue for him. 2-1 and Kusoru, well, makes whatever this faces for the camera. Game 4 has Kusoru get rid of 2 of PR Rogue's characters, and things seem dire with only X Factor level 3 Felicia remaining. But, you know, she has this as level 3 X Factor though.
Ooh, X Factor's immediately, and he opens up Rocket Raccoon. Going for level 3. X Factor combo.
Okay, activate the kitty helper. Get the overhead mix-ups. All you need to do is just get that in.
And
All right,
she can be a problem.
infinite.
Hey.
All right, one more character. Oh,
And
he
he
got
got
it!
her!
And he got it! PR Rock takes it with the Felicia come.
The crowd erupts, and for once, Kusoru looks slightly apprehensive. Was the pressure finally starting to get to him? Regardless, he just takes some advice from one of his friends and starts the next game. Now, Kusoru being in winner's side still had the comfort of being allowed to lose a set. But at this moment, the momentum had clearly shifted towards PR Rogue, and the bracket reset seemed likely. Game 5 starts off very even until Kusoru makes a mistake by betting on doing Vijo's dodge plus max speed super, except PR Rogue didn't press anything. Super gets blocked, no DHC, and so PR Rogue Spencer can just kill him. Except this combo doesn't quite work on Vijo's tiny hitbox. And then, of course, Kusoru being Kusoru, does it again. Dodge plus max speed. PR Rogue seizes and can just bionic arm in time, except he doesn't and just DHCs into Wolverine for some reason. Wolverine dies as a result. Probably the single most important interaction of the set, and it's just Kusoru doing something that hadn't worked the first time, again, expecting a different result, and boy did he get a different result. The momentum now has clearly shifted again to Kusoru, who kills off PR Rogue Spencer, and we're at the same situation in the last game, with Kusoru taking control, with the threat of X Factor level 3 Felicia lurking. Can Kusoru deal with it this time? Can PR Rogue get the bracket reset for the home crowd?
So now here comes Felicia, X Factor. Yeah, he blocks, expecting the log. And he's got to watch. Oh, she's low.
Now you can X Factor cancel the catwalk. I don't know if he knows that though. It's going to be an effective way to get in. Oh no!
Oh, this might be it. No, but it's a little bit too far away for Joe. There's the catwalk that you were talking about.
Right. Oh, Oh no!
This might be
That
it for
lock jab.
Ageojo. Is this it? Does he take it here at final round 15? He's
Oh!
got it. He comes in from Tokyo, Japan, and he's getting mobbed by his friends who've all come out here to represent the Japanese Marvel scene, and they have it.
Kusoru had done the unthinkable, winning a major Marvel through Capcom in the US for Japan. The aftermath was quite something. Questions rose if the US was going to lose its traditional dominance of the game. Such an upset victory clearly led to some soul-searching. Of course, we now know with hindsight that didn't really happen, as aside from a few big exceptions like Kane Blue River, it was still very much an American game. A blog post that was spread around talked about how the game was considered kusoge in Japan. A terribly balanced game, so fun, but with tons of busted stuff. And also talking about kusoge players don't play necessarily to win, but more for the love of the game, and how flashing Sengoku Basara X that time was a coincidence. Arguments immediately broke out. Was UMVC3 really just a bad game that shouldn't be played seriously? As you can imagine, these arguments were necessarily civil to say the least. In 2012, we were arguing if UMVC3, a game developed by Aiding, was secretly a kusoge. 10 years later, we were arguing if DNF Duel, a game developed by Aiding, was also secretly a kusoge. Discourse never changes. Now you might ask, was Kusoru playing anything else that weekend? Well, dear viewer, you are absolutely right. He just kind of went and did this.
Oh my god.
Hey, hey!
Oh, it doesn't get the clean hit.
Why? Why?
Kusoru going in right now.
Using all his meter to cancel his
He's
sweeps.
like, what?
To get...
Oh god, run it back, Steve
What
H.
is he doing?
Run it back, Steve H. Run it back. Run it back. Let's go. Oh.
Great ball by Steve Harrison!
Steve H. Oh.
Well
Nice
done.
dust. No, he
Good
does
block
not
by
tackle.
Kusoru.
Punish
Out of the
that.
Viper.
Yes.
Oh, what?
What? He was mashing super in hit stun. Japan. Oh, yeah, he got over it. This is scary. He has a burst, though.
He does.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Who does that?
Deja vu from the first match.
Oh, God.
Kusoru just going for it yet again. Oh my goodness. What's gonna happen?
DP.
Oh! Another ballsy DP by Kusoru.
Steve H down 2 games. He must win 3.
Steve Harrison needs to
win.
come back with 3 matches in a row. Kusoru.
Come on, Steve, run it back.
I am speechless right now, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
That's
That works?
it. Yeah. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Kusoru, your final round 15. Guilty Gear Accent Court
CH gets
2012
3-0'd.
champion. Taking all our money. Conversion rate from dollar to yen seems really good at this point.
Hi, thanks for watching this video. Please consider subscribing for more. I'll be doing more of this in the future. Also, please take a look at the links in my description and consider checking me out on Twitch. I do stream regularly on there. Thank you.